This is it big?
Yes, it looks great.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday, a nice summer Wednesday to be learning about social media today. My name is Sophia Smecker. I am an independent marketing consultant. I've been working with Maryland Capital Enterprises and the Women's Business Center for some time now, consulting with clients and doing in-person and virtual workshops and classes. So I'm excited to be here today, chatting about one of the things that is kind of like the most asked about as far as kind of marketing webinars goes. So Facebook advertising. So today we're going to talk all about just Facebook advertising kind of in general. And then we're going to be talking a little bit about Facebook Insights too. So there's a really great tool and a feature within Facebook that allows you to learn about your audience on Facebook. And I know everybody's kind of at different levels when we kind of think about social media. Everybody on the call has a different reason why they are utilizing social media for their business. So I'm going to stop a couple times within the webinar here today to see if anybody has any particular questions that are kind of specific to them or just generalized. And then feel free to add any questions into the chat as well. I think I should be able to see that and get notified. If not, I know Lisa or Donna will kind of shout it out. So pretty flexible. And this is, all for you guys. So wanting you all to be able to learn and ask questions of whatever you want to kind of get out of this today. Cool. So I will start with today's agenda. So we'll do a brief intro into Facebook. So like I said, a lot of folks are kind of at all different levels when it comes to Facebook, especially Facebook for business. So I'll give a quick intro into kind of what Facebook is for business. We are going to talk briefly about Facebook during the COVID-19 pandemic and how the pandemic has kind of shaped and changed Facebook a little bit over the past year. Then we'll jump into Facebook Insights, talk about that feature on the platform, and then we'll dive into Facebook advertising. And then feel free in the chat if you want to add in any of your contact information, networking purposes, or you have questions. Later, I'm going to add in my personal email address in case anybody has questions afterwards as well. Cool. So intro into Facebook. So if you're not kind of familiar with Facebook, what it is a free social networking website, and it really allows users to create profiles either for themselves or for their business, upload photos and videos, send messages to kind of keep touch with family and friends. And then, also utilizing this as a business platform to be able to market your products and services. Right now, this is the largest social media platform that there is, which is why we'll spend all day today talking about Facebook, because it is the one that's utilized most by businesses. There are 2.8 billion monthly active users on Facebook right now. And anybody, really over the ages of 13 can join and create a profile. It's free. They can create one for themselves or their business. And then, in addition, it's really kind of a way to stay connected. So you can join groups to connect with others, folks that have like-minded, are like-minded and have similar interests. Also an opportunity to get updates on, businesses and brands that you follow, the products that they're selling, kind of promotions, things like that. News, whether it be local, regional, national, international. Updates on public figures. There's a lot of celebrities that are super active on Facebook. And then connecting with events. So being able to kind of attend events virtually via Facebook, or checking out to see what events there are in your neighborhood. And then lastly, the Facebook newsfeed. So this is kind of the biggest unique feature when it comes to Facebook is the newsfeed when you log in. So this is basically when you log into Facebook, it is your home kind of screen. And it's basically every, brand and business and friend or whatever that you follow. This is kind of where all of that content lives. So, you're getting real-time updates from everything that you follow. And then also, businesses that you don't follow. So you'll see on there that there are some like sponsored posts and you'll get served ads. And those ads are served to you because Facebook is, believing that you are the audience that's most likely going to interact and engage with those ads and those businesses. So we'll talk a little bit about advertising kind of at the end and go in a little deeper. But basically your Facebook newsfeed is where it all lives. That's where you want to be able to kind of interact with the audience and have folks follow you so that your business's updates come up in their newsfeed. All right. So a lot of folks use Facebook for personal use. So we'll talk a little bit about the difference between a personal profile and a business page. So a personal profile is really used to connect with your friends and family, communicate on a personal level, and it's really not meant to be for selling. If you remember back in the day before business pages were created, a lot of businesses were creating their own like friend pages for their business where you could become friends with a business. About 10 plus years now, Facebook went ahead and created the business page option. So businesses are able to create their own business page, and instead of friending a page, users can like and follow a page for business updates. So a business page is really a promotional tool. This is the place where you can share information about your products and services. You do need to have a personal profile to create a business page, and you need to be an admin. But this is basically where, and the function that you were going to use to market your products and services on Facebook. So some of the functions of a business page. So we talked a little bit about some of these things. So Facebook business pages give you the option to create posts. So these posts can be about whatever you would like, general updates about your business hours, promotions and sales, or just kind of saying hello to your customers and potential customers. You can share videos, you can share photos. Social media really gives us the option now with kind of all of the tools that there are, fun video and photo editing apps where you can kind of become a creator in your own right and create some really awesome content that you can share on Facebook. There's also an opportunity for users to leave reviews on a business. So, whether they purchased something from you online or visited your business in person. It's just kind of another platform, just like Google and Yelp, where folks can go on and see the ratings of your business. And then messages. One of the big things about Facebook and just kind of having a presence on social media in general is that not only is Facebook a promotional tool, it really is a customer service tool. So, whether folks are leaving reviews about your business or asking questions and writing comments in posts, they are trying to interact with you directly. There's an option to direct message a page as well. So folks can direct message you and ask questions specifically about your business. And it's really important kind of as a business to be monitoring this and stay engaged with your customers so that you're able to provide that, the best customer experience as possible. it's the days of just kind of calling and, picking up the phone or sending emails is kind of over. Facebook and social media in general has really created the option for users to directly interact with businesses via social media from a click of a button. And then events, so uploading events, whether it be just kind of like a save the date for a sale or an event that you are hosting, or actually hosting kind of an online in-person online event or an in-person event. And then lastly, advertising. So we'll kind of get into this at the end, but one of the really great benefits of Facebook is that it has some super robust advertising functions and options. So the targeting parameters and being able to target very specific audiences is really prevalent within the Facebook advertising tool. So it's probably one of the most kind of in-depth that you can get in terms of online advertising right now. So Facebook has an awesome platform for advertising your business. So that's a little bit about the intro to Facebook and utilizing Facebook for your business in general. Does anybody have any kind of questions as we kind of just briefly touched over kind of what Facebook is in general?
I don't see anything in the chat, so.
I will keep right along. I just got a sip of water, so that's really helpful to have a little break there. So next, kind of talk a little bit about Facebook during COVID-19. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about how the pandemic has affected, Facebook in general. I've been working with MC and the Women's Business Center for the past year, hosting these webinars that are really kind of focused on marketing tactics and strategies during COVID-19. And it really kind of, brings forward kind of how our world has changed when we're thinking, as business owners and marketers. So during COVID-19, a couple things that we've seen, so some trends here. Number one being there's really been an increased usage of Facebook. So if you remember back in March of 2020, businesses, everybody was kind of working from home, and folks were kind of staying, hunkering down indoors, a lot of stay at home orders. So a lot of folks took to Facebook to really connect with their friends and family. So it even kind of, was going into the realm of like, live video chats, kind of hosting live events via Facebook, and just kind of getting, updates. A lot of folks were joining new like groups, or if they're like groups of friends and like coworkers and families that they were spending time with prior to COVID. They were kind of taking it online. So definitely kind of an increase in usage of Facebook during the pandemic. And then also social media, and, kind of Facebook in general has become over the past year, and then definitely before that, a top outlet for folks that are wanting to get news. So, whether it be political news, Facebook was used a ton during the election for folks to get information, or, just, news about the pandemic in general, or things that are going on in your backyard. Facebook is definitely used as a source to not only stay connected with your friends and family, but to also be, to get your news as well. Additionally, as everybody was kind of hunkering down, they were purchasing a lot of things online. So, directly from sites like Amazon, doing shopping for groceries online and things like that. Facebook also saw a surge in e-commerce. So small businesses that were selling directly on Facebook or pointing folks to their Etsy sites or like smaller websites in general. So and I think a lot of that online shopping was already kind of rising prior to COVID, but it's something that it has definitely stayed after, and I think will continue to stay and to grow. Additionally, virtual content. So I think all of us were part of some sort of virtual event, or today we are on a webinar here too. So I think a lot of that virtual content is here to stay, or kind of like a hybrid model of some in-person stuff and virtual things. So Facebook was definitely a big platform for that. And then lastly, unfortunately, we did see, it kind of goes hand in hand with the news bullet here, a lot of misinformation when it came to what was shared on Facebook. So, seeing some like fake news or, things that just kind of weren't verified. So we saw a lot of that during the beginning of COVID, during the election, and Facebook. If you kind of follow the news in general, and kind of Facebook's stance is that they've been trying to get away from that and making sure a lot of the information is verified. So unfortunately, we saw a lot of that, but Facebook is doing a good job of kind of cleaning up that misinformation. Great. So we'll kind of jump into Facebook Insights. So this is probably one of my favorite functions of Facebook, and it's definitely one of the most robust in terms of a function and a feature that a social media outlet has. So Facebook is definitely king when it comes to social media. And they have some really, really great functions and features. And Facebook Insights, kind of as a marketer, is one of my favorites. So basically, Facebook Insights gives you the opportunity to learn about your audience. So whether it be your target audience or audience that currently follows you, you can learn about the geography of your audience. You can learn about their demographics. You can learn about their usage, so when they are actually online. So kind of like the more customer insights, really kind of the better you're going to be equipped to deliver kind of meaningful messages. So the more that you're able to kind of understand your audience, the better you're going to be able to tailor messages and content, and to be able to create more engagement with your potential customers or kind of current customers. So what's really important when we're looking at Facebook Insights, and I'm going to kind of pull up in a few minutes, kind of a back end and show you guys a couple things here. But what is important? So the things to kind of look at here, page likes. So, it's really important to see how many folks are actually following and liking your page. Because if you remember when we talked about the Facebook newsfeed in the beginning, you were able to get in front of audiences that have decided to like and follow your pages, unless you have paid to kind of reach new audiences. So it's important to kind of build up that organic following. So page likes are pretty significant when we talk about kind of what's important as far as Facebook Insights goes. And then additionally, reach. So reach is the amount of users that you are kind of reaching within a given time frame. So this is the amount of folks that are that your content is being delivered to them. And this really plays along with engagement. So engagement is defined as basically an action where a user is kind of interacting with your content. So it could be somebody that is liking your post, they're sharing it with their friends, they're commenting, they're like hearting it, you know, smiley face, kind of all of that. And the more engagement you get, the higher your reach is going to be. And that's because Facebook wants to deliver content that is the most engaging, because it's more likely that fans are going to interact with it. And it's more likely that fans are going to stay on Facebook longer because they are interacting with engaging content. So, you know, they are a business just as we all are. So they want, you know, their users to be able to stay on their platform. So they really prioritize serving engaging content to reach more users. So when we're thinking about in terms of Facebook Insights, page likes, reach, engagement, that's all really, really important. And then lastly, your fans. So there is an option within Facebook Insights where you can see the times that fans are online, and then also learning a little bit more about them. So their ages, and then also geography where they live. And as I said earlier, you know, it's really important to kind of understand those insights about the audience, because you're able to kind of tailor your message better to the audience based upon those kind of insights about them. Cool. So we're going to take a look. So I'm going to pull up a page here to show you guys. But as I'm doing that, does anybody have any kind of initial questions or anything that they've kind of learned that they want to chat through a little bit?
So I have a question, not sure exactly if it's relevant at this time, but when you were talking about getting an understanding of the demographics and, you know, basically the traction on Facebook, how is that information available to us? Like, how would we know that?
So I'm going to show you right now.
Okay.
So that's what I'm going to show you for what Facebook Insights kind of is. So I'm going to share my screen. This is a nonprofit that I am a volunteer with and involved in. I'm going to use them as kind of like an example so you guys can see what this looks like. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
It's Operation We Care business page.
Yes, I can see it. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Because I still see the PowerPoint on one of my screens, so I just wanted to make sure. Great. So when you log into your Facebook business account, you're going to see basically like what the homepage of your business account looks like. And then on the left side here, and it really kind of depends on the device that you are on, of how this is going to kind of display. But if you click on this Insights tab, this is basically what we're talking about today. This is free for everybody that owns a business page or that manages a business page, is able to look at. So welcome to Facebook Insights. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some things that I want to highlight that I think are kind of the most important that we just kind of reviewed. So this is kind of your overview, your homepage. So this shows you kind of your page summary. So this can be for today, yesterday, 7 days, or 28 days. And this is kind of like your dashboard showing you the top statistics. So kind of what is important here. So we'll kind of start with what I had mentioned in the previous slide. So we'll kind of talk a little bit first about page followers. So you're able to see here this is the actual, stats as far as, we'll do 28 days. Did that just go away? Oh, that just went away for some reason. But you're able to see, right here. You're able to see the amount of folks within that given time frame that has decided to follow your page. So you'll see that on here. So that's kind of one thing that we had talked about. Additionally, we talked about reach. So this is post reach. So this is basically the amount of people that you have reached within a given time frame. So that really, depends on the posts that you're putting out, how engaging the content is. I think all of these stats are really important for you to be able to kind of benchmark against each other. So, whether you are tracking this from a weekly basis or like a monthly basis, you're able to kind of see how your post reach increases or decreases over time. And then again, that post reach is dependent upon your like post engagement. So the more engaging your posts are, the more likely that Facebook is going to be to serve your content to users. So the more that your kind of post reach is growing. So these are kind of the things that I would definitely recommend kind of tracking on, whether that be a weekly or kind of like a monthly basis. And then also what I love about this platform and this like kind of overview, like the dashboard, you're able to see the post reach and engagement specifically. So up at the top, that is kind of cumulative for all of the posts that you've shared and all of your content within a given time frame. This is, a list of your kind of 5 most recent posts. You can kind of click to see all posts, but you can kind of track posts from, into individual posts to be able to see kind of what the reach and engagement is. And just, I mentioned this is a nonprofit page, so we're not trying to really like sell anything. This isn't like, a business where there is somebody that's kind of, somebody's definitely always monitoring this, but there isn't really a social media strategy here. It's just kind of an opportunity to stay connected with like fans and, followers of the nonprofit. But if you are in active, business on Facebook, you're going to see some pretty high engagement numbers here on a monthly basis. Does anybody have any questions about this page right here? And then I'll talk a little bit about the demographics page. Did that answer your question? You were asking a little bit about insights, like how you see the information?
Yes, that helped a lot. Thank you.
Of course. Cool. So if you go back over on the left-hand side to insights, there's a lot of other awesome stuff here that you can take a look at. And then we are going to look at people. So this is basically some information about folks that currently follow your page. So this is your fans. And we'll see for this page, just kind of interesting to look at, 70% are women. And then you can see that the highest kind of age group, it's, really kind of split between 35 to 44 and 45 to 54. So interesting to kind of look at here. And then additionally, if you kind of scroll down at the bottom, you can see where your fan base lives. Unfortunately, some of this is skewed by like some bots and things like that. There's always going to be those like internet bots and things, but I do believe that these countries are represented because this is a nonprofit that supports military. So a lot of these folks are kind of living in other countries too. And then let's see. What else? So you can check out actions on the page. So you can see how many people have, clicked on the page and did things like went to the website or, clicked the phone number button to call your business. Again, this is a nonprofit, so not a ton of engagement here, but something that you can definitely look at if you are a business. Let's see. And then this is the reach tab, all kind of, more in depth into reach. And then let's see. This was the people tab that we looked at. Information about your page followers, how they found your page. And then page views, so how they found your page as well. So a lot of kind of good information here for you to be able to kind of look at and dive in deep. And the biggest thing here is kind of, tracking this information and figuring out how you can utilize that to your, advantage. So based upon what your business goals are, who you're trying to reach, and who you are trying to target. So for example, if you are seeing that most of the businesses are, or most of the users that are following you don't actually live in the area where you, that's where you are thinking that your target audience lives, then maybe that's like a good insight that, somehow you are reaching an audience that's different than what you were originally targeting. So, an option to kind of, strategize and pivot and change your marketing tactic. Or, there's a couple pieces of content that are performing really well. You're seeing a lot of likes and engagements and comments on that you necessarily didn't think that would, perform well, or that, just kind of a useful insight that your audience is interacting with it. That could be, a good sign to you that that's the kind of content that your audience really likes to engage with. So definitely opportunities to apply those learnings to your marketing when you're thinking about your overall social media strategy. And then lastly, that information about who is following your page currently really gives you some insights into your advertising strategy. So we'll kind of go into advertising in a few seconds, but so, if you have a particular audience that you are looking to target that you see is not represented within the current follower base, then that gives you, some idea of a new audience that you want to reach. For example, if you are a local Delmarva business, but you really want to expand regionally, and you're seeing that, you just aren't getting the reach in Baltimore or like Philadelphia, for example, then, as you're thinking about Facebook advertising and the targeting functions, that you would apply, that kind of information and that audience to your advertising when you're thinking about targeting. Cool. So those are kind of, I guess, like the basics when we talk about Facebook Insights, but a lot of information here. And like I said in the beginning, I know everybody's kind of at different levels when it comes to Facebook and Insights and the different functions and platforms in general, but wanted to stop there before we get into advertising to see if anybody has any questions about that. All right. Well, we'll roll on through to the final section here today, and I want to hopefully leave some time for like questions in case anybody has them at the end as well. So talking a little bit about Facebook advertising. So this is one where I really get the most questions from businesses of like, you know, how do I know if Facebook's advertising is working for me? How do I know if this is something I should use? What are kind of the best tips and tricks? If you have specific questions after the webinar, I put my personal email into chat. Please, you know, feel free to email me if you have specific questions that you want to ask outside of the webinar. But I'll kind of give a rundown on Facebook advertising kind of in general. So Facebook advertising, like I said, is a platform, you know, within Facebook that is super robust. It really gives advertisers tons and tons of options to be able to reach audiences that they probably couldn't have reached before, you know, with other marketing tactics and outlets like billboards and print ads and things like that. Some of the benefits of Facebook advertising is that it's super budget friendly. You know, you can spend a couple $100 on an ad, you can spend $50 on an ad, you can spend you know, a certain amount per day on an ad if you would like to. There's no sort of minimum for advertising. It really just kind of depends on what your budget is. There's also a lot of powerful targeting parameters when it comes to Facebook advertising. So, you know, being able to reach folks that are that, you know, interest, you know, things that are targeting parameters based on folks' interests, where they live, their age, what their occupation is, what their income level is. There are thousands and thousands of targeting options when you create an ad. So, you know, it's really, really great to be able to reach a very specific niche customer that you may not have been able to reach with other kind of forms of marketing. Facebook advertising is also super customizable. So, and I think one of the cool things is that you don't need to be a graphic designer to create a Facebook ad, and you don't need to be you know, a super whiz to create a Facebook ad. And it's also kind of customizable in the sense that, you know, you can utilize a video for an ad, you can utilize just images, you can utilize pictures. There's things called carousel ads, so a lot of different options, which we'll talk about in a few seconds here. And then lastly, analytics. So, you know, we got to see a little bit into Facebook Insights. There's also Facebook Analytics, and after you run any Facebook ad, it shows you the reporting. So it shows you how many folks engaged with the content, you know, liked and shared, so that you're able to actually track the performance of these ads, which is something that you're really unable to do when it comes to traditional advertising like billboards and print ads, radio, things like that. So, you know, very budget friendly, but then also an opportunity for you to see, you know, your return on investment and to track that in other ways you may not be able to with other platforms. So we'll talk about the three main kind of types of ads. So on the left, this is an image ad. So this is basically an ad with an image, and this can be a graphic image, an illustration, a photo, but it includes a caption at the top. So, you know, you have your copy there. And then there's also an option for you to be able to link to go somewhere. So, you know, whether it be a link to a website or a link to redeem a special offer or a code. There is an option with all image ads to link and click somewhere. A carousel ad, this is kind of my favorite because it gives you more options to be able to add in more graphics and photos and illustrations. So it's basically what this kind of looks like, where you can share multiple images at a time. And this is great for restaurants that are promoting menu options, or e-commerce businesses, like you'll see this shoe company here. And then again, allows you to link to check out a website or go to a particular landing page or things like that, so the user can take a particular action. And then lastly, video. So there is an option as well. So kind of one of the top Facebook ads, you can promote a video, and then folks can click on it, they can like it, they can engage with it as well. And the video can really be anything you want. It can be videos of your products or your services. It can be a little bit about your business story. Just really kind of depends. And there's a lot of really great video apps now that are free or super, cost effective for you to be able to take videos directly on your phone and to be able to upload and utilize for Facebook advertising. So kind of what does the structure of a Facebook ad look like? So we're going to kind of go through, I'm going to share my screen and show you exactly how to kind of run a really basic Facebook ad. But there's kind of three main structures of a Facebook ad. The first one being the objective. So, what are you trying to achieve here with this ad? And Facebook wants to know this because it will give you options to create that ad depending on what your objective is. So for example, if you are looking to drive people to your website, it will give you the option to be able to utilize imagery and then also include a link. There are specific options for e-commerce. There are specific options for if you're trying to advertise your page and to have folks like and follow your page. So that's kind of the first step when it comes to the structure. The second step is the ad set, and that is your targeting parameters. So that's where you kind of put all of that information about who you are trying to reach. And that's also where you put in your budget. So we'll look at that. And then lastly, the ad itself. So we'll talk about kind of how you would create that. So getting started, kind of as you're thinking about creating an ad, these are kind of the 4 steps that I would think about before you even kind of log in to start creating that ad. So first being business goal. So, what is your goal here? What are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to get people to like your page? Are you trying to sell your products and services? Are you trying to drive people to your website? Do you want people to call you? So it's good to kind of think about that before you get started. Secondly, who are you trying to reach? So that should really be in line with your overall marketing plan and who you are trying to reach as a business and who your target audience is. Third being budget. So how much do you have to spend? And this could be, based upon the time frame that you want to run the ad because you have a particular promotion during a particular time frame. Or it could be based on like an annual budget or a kind of a monthly budget. But it's good to kind of have some numbers in mind before you get started. And then lastly, your creative. So, what creative do you actually have to utilize for this Facebook ad? Is it an image? Are you working with a graphic designer? Do you create your own images? Is it a photo? Is it a video that you created? That's kind of important as you are thinking about kind of what the structure of the ad looks like. So these are kind of a checklist of 4 items to think about before you even start kind of going in to run that ad. It's good to kind of map those things out. So we're going to go ahead and take a look. And while I'm pulling this up, does anybody have any questions? Cool.
So when it comes to the budget, it gives you an option in terms of I think that was a question. Running the ad, they have a particular range?
Yeah, it gives you an option of how much you want to spend. So it could be how much you want to spend per day or how much you want to spend within the lifetime of the ad. And then it shows you how many people you may reach with spending that particular budget.
Okay. And that's
So
something I guess can be set up like a monthly, is it a monthly fee or something like that? Or is it a one-time fee? Do you?
it could be monthly or one time. It just kind of depends on how it's set up.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
No, I can see you.
No. Where am I here? Uh-oh. Ay, ay, ay. Let's see. How about now?
Yes, I can see it now.
Perfect. Okay. So if you log into your business page, and there's a lot of different ways that you can get to the advertising. So if you have an advertising account, it kind of looks a little bit different, but this is basically for businesses that don't have a ton of experience with advertising, and this is kind of the first time, or they're kind of getting used to it, and it's new to them. So what you want to do here is click the promote tab. So this is what that takes you to set up your ad. So the first thing here is choosing your goal. So that goal is what we talked about when we talked about your objective. So like, you know, what is your objective for running the ad? So these are some different options, and it really just kind of depends on what you are trying to get out of this. So I'm going to click on get more website visitors, because a lot of us are probably have some sort of website that we want to drive folks to. Cool. So here, it's going to take me to, this is a pretty kind of easy, like functional to use like generator. So like I said, if you have a Facebook advertising account, this does look a little bit different, and the options look a little bit more robust, and honestly, it's a little bit more scary. This is kind of more like user friendly, but basically they're going to give you like a general ad. So they're going to pull images and copy and things like that already live on your page. But this is really an option for you. You know, you can kind of customize this depending on what you want it to be. So this is going to be an image ad. But first, what I want to do is I want to scroll down, and I want to look at the targeting. So this is what we call the ad set. And this is basically, you know, who your audience is, and then kind of what the budget is for the ad. So first thing here is, you know, who are we trying to reach? So if you click this, you can kind of edit. And there's a ton of stuff here that you can see, you know, kind of as you are thinking about what you want your target audience to be and who you want to reach. So I can choose a particular age range, you know, 42 to 65. I can choose a particular area. So I'm going to choose Salisbury, Maryland. I can choose, you know, 25-mile radius. And then you'll see here that at the bottom, the potential reach is really changing based upon who I'm targeting. So the more that I am adding and targeting parameters, the more that the audience comes defined. And the reason why we want this audience to be really defined is because, you know, us as business owners and marketers, we can't just sell our products. It just doesn't make sense for us to target everybody. Not everybody on the street is going to buy your product or service. So you want to be able to really add in some detailed targeting so that, you know, you are spending money on folks that are most likely going to purchase your products or services. And then detailed targeting. So we can do things like folks that are interested in motherhood. We can detail, target business owners. So if you'll see at the bottom, it says demographics. So this is basically occupation. So folks that identify as business owners. So there's a ton of like interest-based targeting.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
for my business, it's a tutoring company. If I want to I don't want to target other tutoring company. I want to target families that are in need of tutoring. Is that something that's preset, or I have to type it in? Because if I look for tutoring, then it'll probably give me tutoring companies, right?
No, so this is going to give you users. So Facebook advertising does not target other businesses.
Okay.
This is only targeting individuals. So this is folks that have interest in online tutoring. And this is really based upon their actions throughout the internet. So Facebook has some connections with other businesses, like Google, for example, where if you are a business or you are an individual that's Googling online tutoring kind of in your area, if you check that, Google and these other search platforms can look at your history, then they do sell that information over to Facebook and other social media sites. So, and the same thing with Amazon and a lot of the other websites. So, they're basically creating a profile of you based upon what your actions are on the internet, and then based upon kind of what you are interacting with on Facebook too.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So you can kind of save your audience here. You'll see my audience became more defined. And then I wanted to look at here. So your daily budget. So I recommend creating basically when you want an ad to run. So say I want my ad to run for like 7 days. You can either do a daily amount, or there is a way as well for you to run this ad continuously, so it's kind of always running. I would definitely recommend creating an end time so that you're running ads periodically and not just keeping it an ad on, so you're able to kind of refresh the content. So you'll see here an estimate of reaching 402 to 1.2 thousand people per day based upon what the budget is. So if I end up adding more days, then it's creating, it's adding more that folks are kind of the estimated daily reach, or from adding in the budget.
So with this, when you do the days and setting an end date, then you would have to go back in to choose. Let's say, I guess, in order for an ad or even to get customers, would you suggest doing it on a monthly basis, or you just?
Yeah, I would suggest, it really kind of depends on your objective for the ad. So if it is, if you're running a promotion for like, for example, if it's like a couple weeks before school starts, then I would choose kind of an end date and then figure out kind of what you want that promotion time frame to be. Does that kind of make sense?
Yes, I get it now.
Cool. And then up at the top here, this is where you kind of, figure out what you want the ad to look like. So you can hit this select media. This is where you can add in your images, your videos, or you can create a carousel ad and add in different images. And then over here is the ad preview, and it's going to show you exactly what you would like for it to look like. So for example, I'm going to say Maryland Capital. So if I'm editing here, it's going to pop up in the preview. And then you can change, you know, all of these different things. So this says like apply now. I want to say like, I want folks to be able to like donate now. So that changes. And then I can choose like the website URL that I want to take them to. And then you can also choose the imagery, and then as well as updating the ad copy here. So that's kind of a really like brief kind of intro into Facebook ads. And what I love about Facebook too is that there are tons of tutorials on their website where you can kind of follow along to create your first ad too. So definitely kind of some options for you to be able to kind of learn more, but that's kind of the basic overview. And I know we've got a minute left. I'm going to share my screen and show you guys some upcoming webinars that I'm hosting with MC and the Women's Business Center. But I wanted to open it up to see if anybody has any questions. I know I ran through the last part pretty quickly. We were kind of running out of time, but does anybody have any specific questions?
It's me again.
Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
So I am definitely in the beginning stages of understanding Facebook and developing a page. So I know you have training, but is there something where it could be is an option for to work with you or the team continuously, at least until, you know, maybe even if it's just a period of a couple of days, or asking questions to shoot on how to develop my Facebook page?
Yeah, sure. I do work with clients, so I included in the chat, if you're able to access that, my personal email address.
Mm-hmm.
I work with clients on all different scales, helping them build out their strategy or helping them with more executional stuff, and then also helping with training too. So I'd be happy to set up a session with you if you want it to kind of chat about your needs and kind of what you're looking to learn. Yeah, it's definitely something I can help with.
Thank you, much appreciated, because I am definitely new and the business is just basically a couple months old. So
there's a lot to learn, and I think a lot of folks just need a little bit of training before they start implementing themselves. I think Facebook has done a really great job of creating a platform that is really user-friendly for people to kind of execute. But sometimes it just takes a little bit of training to start.
Yes.
So Ms. Stewart, are you a client of the MCE Women's Business Center?
I think I am, not sure.
Okay.
Because I received the email, so.
Okay, good. You must be, or you could just be on the email list. So I'll have to check and see.
Okay.
Are you in Baltimore or on the Eastern Shore?
I'm actually in PG County.
Okay. So you may just be on our mailing list.
Okay.
Yes, I was just wondering, but I didn't get to say a little bit about our services in the beginning.
Yeah, please do.
So just to let you know, MCE and the Women's Business Center, we do assist entrepreneurs that are getting started in business, or if they're already in business and trying to expand. We offer training classes such as this. We offer business consulting, marketing consulting, and we work with Sophia with that. So yeah, those are some of our free services. We also offer micro loans. So if you need any of our services, I put my information in the chat. You can reach me by phone or by email. And Nick is also on. He's our Baltimore Regional Director. So you can also reach out to Nick or Donna as well.
Hello.
So, hey, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
So if you guys need anything, be sure to reach out to us. Thanks for joining us today. And thank you, Sophia, for all that wonderful information.
You're welcome. There's so much to cover. I get like out of breath.
I know. I love that the special part at the end where we're actually in there and seeing exactly how you do it. That was the best part for me. So
Me too. Awesome. Well, like I said, if anybody has any other questions and want to chat through it individually, feel free to send me an email. I'm always, here now that, you know, I've met all of you kind of virtually to answer questions. I don't mind helping. So I love business owners and folks that are passionate about their businesses, because I'm passionate about marketing. So
Wonderful. Thank you.
have a good day, everybody. Thank you.
I'll
Thank
also
you.
be sending out an evaluation to you guys. If you can complete that and send it back in, that helps us meet our match for our grant. So it helps us able to provide free services in the future. So we'll just send it to you via email.
Cool. Thanks,
right.
everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you.
All right, thank
You
you so
too.
much. Bye-bye.